Alright, in this video we're going to make it real quick. We're going to do some red eye reduction, and I'm going to show two different techniques here, and then we're going to do a little reconstruction of the pupil. So in one way we can do this is I'm going to copy this background layer. I could right click and duplicate layer, or just drag it down into the new layer. That way I can tell what I've done and what I haven't done. I'm going to go to the sponge tool, and the sponge tool is basically kind of just that. It sucks up the stuff, so it's going to suck up and desaturate the area inside my cursor. And remember, I'm going to use my cursor. I'm going to use the bracket keys, the open and close bracket keys, and I have this set to the mode as a desaturate. So I'll zoom in a little bit more here, and what I'm doing is I'm just left clicking, left clicking, left clicking, left clicking, left clicking, and it's taking that red out. It's desaturating and changing it into gray. I may want to bump up the flow a little bit so it works a little bit faster. And there, I've desaturated it, which makes the pupil black like it should be. However, there's another way. Photoshop now is making it easier and easier, and that is with this red eye tool underneath the spot healing brush. And all this does is it kind of analyzes what color the red is, and it clicks on it and does it quite quickly. So that's probably definitely the easier way. I just wanted to show you what the sponge tool did. So I'm going to throw that away real quick, and I'll make another copy. Then I'm just going to use that red eye tool, and that'll work a lot faster. But now the trouble is still these eyes are kind of pretty contrasty here, and so a lot of times in a good photograph the highlight is off to one side. So this one looks like it's kind of a little freaked out, and really that's a cute baby. So what we want to do is we'll get rid of that, and so we're going to use the clone stamp that we've already used at one point. Let's zoom in here, and I'm going to select some of this black here, and the clone stamp is used. It's basically what we have to do is load the brush with color, and then we're going to place the color someplace. So I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to use sample all layers. So that means I'm going to take color off of any of these layers, and then I'm going to place it on this blank layer. That way if I mess up I can throw this blank layer away and I haven't damaged the original. So in order to load my brush, I have to hold the Alt key down, and while I'm holding the Alt key down I'm going to left click, and that loads my brush. And if I kind of move my cursor over, you can kind of see it's kind of loaded with that black. And I've got a soft brush, and I could have made a hard brush if I wanted to. Then I place it over top and click. Now I'm going to come back in and double check and make sure that I'm getting color I want by Alt, left click, then release Alt, and then left click again. Then Alt, left click, release Alt, and then just left click. Alt, left click, and then left click again. So I'm going to do that real fast over here. Now I can also kind of just color, because you can see right here, and it's kind of hard to see, but there's a little X. Well, that's where this brush or this clone stamp is actually sampling from. So as long as I have that X where it's the color that I want to reproduce, like this black, then I'm fine. But if I move my cursor over a little bit too far, then I start to sample blue, and you can kind of even see right there in that eyeball that I'm getting that blue color. So let me zoom in a little bit and show you that again. Alt, left click, and I can color in. Alt, left click. Fine, because that X is sampling in the black area. But look what happens when I start. If I get out here in the blue, then it starts introducing the blue from over here into here, and that's not what we want. So Now what we do want though is now we've kind of made these eyes very flat, and this is just a real quick way of doing it. And if you can watch some of the fashion photography, this is kind of true. When I set up a picture in my studio, a lot of times I'll get the reflection of my umbrellas, my reflector umbrellas. So sometimes you may not want that kind of umbrella look, so you may want to redo this reflection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my brush to a regular brush, soft brush, white color. I'm going to make a new layer so that this is my reflection, and I'm going to make a nice big reflection. Here is my primary reflection, and I got my opacity kind of down, kind of low, but I can, if it's too bright, I can always come back and change the opacity of the layer. So I'm going to kind of fire in just a little light value in there, and I want it exactly the same place on my other eye. It's not the mirror image. So if you think about this as being like 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, this is kind of like at 2. I want to make sure it's at 2 o'clock and not 10 o'clock. Okay, now I'm going to make another layer for my secondary light. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, and I'm still going to make it right here. You can see that I'm going between the iris and the pupil, and that's kind of what I'm going to do here. Make a little bit down at the bottom. Now if that's too bright, and I'm just going to zoom out and see, I think it's just a lot more natural eyes than that one original. Let me turn all these off and kind of show you what we started off with, and we've created a lot more natural eye. If one's too bright, then I can go, let's say my secondary light is too bright, let's say we'll go to opacity, and we can lower the opacity. Zoom in a little bit more so you can see, down and up. So it's okay. I guess you probably err on the side of being too bright, because you can always lower it right here. It's kind of hard to add more color unless you just go back to the brush. So that's how we can kind of take care of red eye.